What is up, y'all? It's your girl Taylor Wayla here, and I got a special guest with me today. What's up? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, man. It's Elijah Cozart, a.k.a. Mr. Stay Cozy, a.k.a. the ugly sex symbol, man.
Hey, Coz. It's nice to have you up in the station, bro. I really appreciate you coming by.
I appreciate you inviting me, man.
Yeah. So, for everybody who doesn't know who Elijah Cozart is one of the upcoming rappers of this generation that is going to be changing the game. He also sings a little bit too for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Something sweet and tangy. So, but yeah, y'all, he's a very talented artist, independent as well. On his grind, y'all, he's just been doing amazing things. We're gonna be talking about his project, Stay Cozy. We're gonna be talking about future projects today. What's to come for Cozy, and all type of just stuff that just deals with Elijah Cozart. So if you don't know, now you about to find out.
If you don't know,
now you know.
I can't say the rest.
No. Okay, so Cozy or Elijah Cozart. Tell us a little bit about yourself, bro. Where you from?
I am an Ellenwood native, E-World to No World, man. That's pretty much it. I don't have any cool stories.
Just Ellenwood? You never dwelled in any other part?
I moved to Stockbridge my senior year, which was cool, but I don't have any stories about hanging in Stockbridge.
Okay, so where did you go to school?
I went to high school in Henry County, Woodland High School to be exact.
Shout out to Wolfpack.
You know what I'm saying?
17.
Which was a really interesting experience because it's like I would go to school and see what I saw there, then go back home to a completely different environment. Not super drastic, but you could tell the difference,
Mm-hmm. So, what was it like growing up in Ellenwood?
It was real interesting because we were in a time where it was like people were starting to figure themselves out in middle school time, stuff like that. That's when I moved to Woodland or whatever. Mm-hmm. And for a semester, since my mom left teaching in Henry County, I had to go to school in Clayton County. So it was almost a culture shock because it was like a few kids from the neighborhood that I knew, but I'm right in the middle of kids, being recruited for gangs and this, that, and the third, and kids doing this, that, and I'm like, okay. I wasn't worried because when you know what I'm saying, you just have a spirit where you can talk with anybody and joke and laugh. You don't have any issues. You very rarely have issues. Plus, so I played sports. So it was cool. I had a cool time adapting, but it was clearly a difference from being in the Henry County school system.
So what was the big culture shock for you? Like, was it the type of people? Was it the actual way they taught?
You could see a difference in, the type of people and just the interactions, with their authority figures, like a classroom where not the teachers, not so much running the class, but it's the students doing what they want to do. And, it's different each class, but, it was like, whoa, okay, you can say that right here, right now? Okay, cool.
Right. I understand, yeah. So, when you came to Woodland, right, what was that like for you, like, being in Woodland officially, like?
It was cool. I prided myself on being adaptable, even, because I still play sports. That always gave me an upper hand. It was like, oh, he does this. Oh, hey, they found out he raps. He's cool people. So it was like I didn't have any problems. I would just take the time to assess the different areas,
Yeah. So, in high school and stuff, what were you a part of? Like, were you a part of any extracurricular activities? I know you sing, so.
This is funny. But I was in the choir in high school, in the top choir, Le Voce.
Yeah, I was
Shout out to Mr. Miller, man, OG. Mm-hmm. Taught me how to use my throat.
Dr. Miller now. He's a doctor now.
Dr. Miller?
Mm-hmm. So shout out to Dr. Miller. I know, right? Claps.
And I played baseball.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty much it.
Okay, so in choir, being that Dr. Miller was your instructor, how do you feel that your musical ear has evolved from the beginning, like you didn't know anything about music, to now?
I feel like I'm still to this day, learning the technicalities of it. Because when I entered the choir, I just knew I could sing. I knew I could hold a note. Mm-hmm. And it was more so a gift rather than a skill at that point. Mm-hmm. But he trained me how to sing a part of a group an ensemble. Because it's one thing to get the mic at church and everybody's listening to you rather than being just a piece of somebody else's puzzle. And it was interesting being able to train my voice and my ear and
to listen to other people.
Right. And find where you fit into that.
Right.
So that was always pretty cool for me.
Okay, that's cool. So as far as like sports and stuff goes, I know you say you play baseball. What position are you? Like Hank Aaron or like what are you?
I was a third baseman and a pitcher. However, what was it? 10th grade, I tore my rotator's cuff. Well, not tore it, but I strained it really badly. That's right here in my shoulder.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the key part of playing baseball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That kind of threw a little wrench in it. But I was a closing pitcher. I prided myself on being able to finish games and not, you know what I'm saying, not let up for the wins. Because pretty much all my life I threw very hard. The mechanics weren't always the best, which I learned over time. However, the damage had already been done, basically.
So what was your favorite thing about baseball? And do you feel any way that you don't play anymore?
Oh, I miss it all the time. I was watching the World Series the other day. Excuse me. Every time I see something, I'm like, it's big league baseball. You know what I'm saying? You got the icy veins. I would have made that play. Like, I'm just talking that old head, what's his name? Rico? From, what's the name of the movie? Napoleon Dynamite? Is that it?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm just having those moments. But I missed being a part of something. That was my thing as a kid. I loved playing with my baseball team, traveling, the camaraderie, going to different states, all of that. That was always my favorite part.
So, do you feel like your music is filling in that void of love that you had? Most
definitely. Most definitely. I'd say music, it was always a key point for me.
Right.
I always loved it, but you couldn't tell me in 8th grade that I wasn't going to be in the MLB. You know what I'm saying? And they just started to change places. And it really stuck with me when my mom told me, like, once I injured my shoulder, and I was like, dang, I really can't play no more. And she told me, she was like, well, since the very beginning, I always saw you on the stage rather than the field. And I was like, well, why you didn't tell me? Because I knew I could do a little something, but I was like, sports is more practical at the time. But it definitely shifted, and I always never not had something to say. So it's just music was the best way to express that.
Okay, so how do you feel like you are? Do you consider yourself like an artist, or do you like consider yourself a rapper, or what are you? Because I know most rappers, they don't like to put the label on it.
Yeah, I consider myself a creative.
I've been getting that too, creative.
And I say that in the sense of, and it's more so than just me creating my own music. Like I'm taking this opportunity to help my peers and, you know, executive produce projects that they have coming to work. So I'm not gonna speak too much on them, but I definitely want to play a part in creating the best them that they can be.
Right.
Because a lot of people are still figuring out who they are as an artist and what sounds good with. Because that's the bottom line. It has to sound good. You can put you in it, but it has to sound good. And I feel like I want to play a role where I can help everybody that's close to me that I feel has the talent and the grit to be able to make the best sounding projects that they can.
So more like an A&R almost.
Definitely. The end result is definitely I want to own a label, but not in a suit and tie type of environment. I want to be a Coach K.
Right.
You know, where everybody in my circle's eating off of the muscle, you know.
Right. You're just the brains. Okay. I like that idea. So, like, what would you want your record label to be named? You thought about that yet? I'm
going to ride the Stay Cozy thing till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I just want authenticity. And Stay Cozy just, we'll get into that later. We'll talk about the
podcast. Go ahead.
But Stay Cozy just ultimately means being comfortable being who you are. And it took me a very, I'm not going to say very long time, but a lot longer than it should have to come up with that concept, because I was like, Stay Cozy. It came about in such a round the way type of moment. I was just chilling on somebody's couch. And I was like, well, you look mighty cozy over there.
Right.
I was like, that's what they called me. They didn't call me that at the time. But after that, it stuck. We rolled with it. And the hustle in me came out. So I started to just branded and, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Starting to sell, you know.
It sticks.
Moving a little something. It sounds like I'm a drug dealer. That's not what it was. It was t-shirts. It was t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? I started to make something off there. Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Stay cozy, y'all. That's the brand, right? So, what have you learned about yourself as far as you being an artist? What's the best way that cozy works? Or Elijah Cozart?
I feel like, honestly, I feel like they both work differently. It's crazy to sound. Elijah Cozart likes to work alone. He's very, is the word meticulous?
Webster's Dictionary.
Yeah, if you can get at me, just let me know.
For real, man.
Just let me know if I'm using it right.
Meticulous.
But I like to be very on point with what I want to get across. And I don't like anything to sway the message. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And I like to work alone so I can think into what I'm putting forth as far as concepts, how I want to deliver what I'm saying.
Right.
Different things like that. Cozy, on the other hand, is more adaptable. You'll see him jumping on multiple types of beats. Elijah Cozart has a set sound. I think Cozy is the guy that wants to write everything, jump on everything, record everything, and run with it. So,
we talked about you being able to both sing and rap earlier. Do you think that the two personalities that you have, like Cozy would be more of the rapper and then Elijah Cozart would be more of the song?
Absolutely. I feel like, I hope I don't come off really crazy with two personas, but it helps me, honestly, because I have a lot of things that I want to juggle and want to accomplish. And Elijah Cozart is definitely the more vulnerable of the two. I'll say that much. And Cozy is the more confident, you know what I'm saying? Slightly, probably a little arrogant, depending on who you ask. But I feel like that's an even balance, because you have to, at one point, feel like you're the best to do what you do. And the other point, you got to be like, well, I have some faults, and I'm not afraid to address them.
Right.
You know.
That's good, and I don't think it's anything wrong with an artist having two personalities or multiple personalities, because if that's the way that you have to make your art, then by all means you do that, and your art is not trash. Like, you are very lyrical, you're very intellectual, your songs, we can actually understand what you're saying. Like, you can actually hold a note and sing, like, for real. So I'm not hating on none of that. So when it comes to you singing or rapping, which one are you more comfortable with?
It's interesting that you asked me that question at this time, because for the longest, when I first started music, I was like, man, I'm bars, 24/7 bars. I ain't worried about nothing, bars. And I go record something, bring it back home to my folks. I was like, yeah, sounds really good. You know what I'm saying? You really talented. When you gonna sing? I was like, well, eventually. And then I wasn't thinking too much about it. But as of late, singing is, you know what I'm saying, taking a little step closer to the top, because that's what I fell in love with initially. I had to think back to where I fell in love with music, and I didn't get into the Jay-Z's and the Waynes until up in elementary school, almost middle school. I was into the Confessions album, or, you know what I'm saying, the Music Soul Child, but even Babyface. And so I was in the back seat singing before I knew how to put words together to rap. And it's just funny how God has made that, 360 for me. And I'm not gonna run from it. It's a gift that He blessed me with, so I'm gonna use it.
Okay, that's good. So when you do sing, right, what do you feel? How do you feel you sing the best? Like, what type of songs? Is it all love songs? Could it be like some breakup, heartbreak songs? Like, what brings that emotion out of you?
I don't want to sound cliche, but my favorite muse when it comes to singing songs is definitely women. And not in the degrading way, because we have a lot of that too. But I want a genuine love to come across, be it maybe sometimes it's a little grown, but other times I wanted to make it as simple as your first crush. You know what I'm saying? Just a genuine, raw emotion of excitement of being with your compatible sex. Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. This is Taylor Wayland.